Welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Well, oops, bad diabetic wasn't prepared. So let's take a look. I'll do the infamous hand and take a look at this that you can focus on it. I have 4.625 units of insulin. It was a busy morning. I went up and I've come down. So today I didn't go as high as I went yesterday. So today's been pretty good. So I've been just out of range a bit, but all in all I've been in range. My basal rate's working. The blue corrections are still there. And then I also have my 2 meals, breakfast and lunch. Time and range, we're looking, it just went up 83%. 17% of the time I'm above, 83% of the time I'm in range. And because this is down, this goes down as well. Average sugar in millimoles is 7.8. Awesome. Today, I want to talk about some of the features of my 780G insulin pump that have worked for me, that have kept me pretty stable. Well, a lot better stable than I was before. So sit back, grab your coffee, tea, whatever, and we'll get going with our presentation. Stay tuned. Okay. Today, as I stated earlier, I'm going to show you some of the features of my 780G pump. This is what I call a tethered pump, which means the insulin is in a catheter tubing, which is attached to my body. Now, people think that once you've been diagnosed to have the pump, that's all you really have to do. The pump will solve everything. Well, I hate to tell you this, and I'm not meaning to burst bubbles, but the 780G pump doesn't do everything. We'll click it on, and if you're using the sensor with it as I am, this is showing you the amount of glucose in a shield. We're just going to keep going now, please. So there it shows you the amount of insulin that's currently in your system. But what's nice with this pump versus a regular pump is that a regular pump, will give you a basal rate from 9 to 11 in the morning, you may do 1.2 units. From 11 to 4, you might do 1.5 units of insulin that the pump will constantly give you. This is what I call a fluid pump, and that is that the basal rate, which is shown in, just let me get it here, this table is the basal rate is in the pink, and you can see how sometimes it's at full force, other times it's little, other times I don't need it at all. So, as you can see, lately I've been staying within reason, but pretty good. When you eat a meal and you give yourself a bolus, which I've shown on this channel before. Let me go to this. This is probably the better one to show you what is on my pump. When you use the phone as your pump screen, it shows you everything we just went over. So there it shows you the screen that we looked at. Other times it's all showing pretty good. So we're keeping it pretty straightforward. And this is nice, but you have to make sure you monitor your blood sugar. It's great that it's here, but if you're not taking a look at it, you're going to not know how good the pump is. Now, years ago, before I changed to the more update pumps, I was with Medtronic, and I had their very simplistic pump that I had got years before, and they had come up and they couldn't, my doctors could not read what my data from my pump, so they couldn't see what I was doing. So I would sit there, I would draw little graphs each day in trying to show them what my blood sugars were. And then I got this model of pump, the MiniMed pumps, and they are so much better. And on a regular pump, there's so much more variables that you have to provide. The 780G pump does a lot. I can sit here and let it run without really worrying. Most people don't have to worry whether they're dropping low. I'm being labile. Don't always have that luxury. But I can check, say, okay, 8.7, I'm doing great. Let's just relax. Now, issues with the pump. Well, it being tethered, and whether you're in a tethered version or you're dealing with the Omnipod set of pumps, they can become dislodged from your skin. Omnipod, you're wearing your insulin on your skin, where my insulin's stored in the pump. And you can only store 3 cc's or 300 units. Just making sure I'm doing the math correctly. You need to be able to count your carbs. If you're not able to count your carbs properly, the 780G pump may not be the best for you. You need to have input into the pump to make sure it's worked correctly. Now, with the 780, it's brought out that I don't have to do a blood sugar, a glucometer reading, pretty much for a long time. It's been about, well, I was sick last week, so I had to do a reading. But usually I could go weeks without doing a blood sugar now because the pump keeps reading, and then that's awesome. So you're able to count your carbs to type in the amount. You're also going to have to be able to modify your carb ratio as specified by your doctor. With me, a lot of times I will be talking with my doctor and will have my medicine with me. So that's awesome. It's nice to have it on my phone, but if for some reason I go out or I lose my phone or I leave it at home or whatever, everything's on my pump. That's what I like. I've heard Omni, oh yes, well we have everything on our system. Oh, just notice I have to clean my phone. I will do that later. But would I trade in my Omnipod 780G? Well, right now, no. There's nothing better suited for me on the market than the 780G pump. And my doctor has pretty well stated that he likes the pump, I like the pump, and it's got the best control for me. In the future, well, if something better comes along, then maybe I will. Sorry, my head keeps getting cut off. So, keeping your blood sugars in control will help you feel better. Nothing's worse than your blood sugars going berserk when you have the flu or some sort of illness. Mine will work on keeping my blood sugars normal. And we've seen more of that. When I felt ill, this keeps the blood sugars as close to normal as possible. And I haven't had this one while doing or being in a DKA situation. I was on the old model of this pump when not September of last year, it was the September before when I went into DKA and ended up in the hospital. So, keeping things all good. Just remember, any pump, you're going to have to do some work. Don't forget. Sorry, just had a visitor in here. And they turned off my light, so we're just going to do this quickly. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me